Hey guys, it's Christian, the District 4 mentor for the Hunger Games Year 3, also known as Game Maker Volt from the Fourth Quarter Quell, which our lovely Game Maker Alpha also game made. Is that a word? It is now. So I'm just going to kind of go over a couple things to tell your tributes to really help them put on the best possible show that they can. Because I just feel it would be mean for me to withhold that information from everyone. I mean, granted, I want my tributes to win because they're better than your tributes, not because I have special advice for them. So, basically, the chunk of this video is going to be about how submissions are scored and what Alpha in the past has looked for in winning submissions. When I helped Game Make for the Fourth Quarter Quell, we came up with a scoring system that translates personal opinions on the submission and turns them into numbers and put those numbers on a scale of 1 to 12. And obviously, the higher you get, the better the chance you have of winning. I won't go into the exact details how it's broken down because it's my scoring system and I want to keep it for if I ever game make again. So I won't tell you all the specifics, like how the numbers translated and all that. But there were 5 categories that were scored on in the past: creativity, realisticness, writing, gore, and originality. These were the 5 main things that Alpha looked for. And the ones with the most weight were creativity and realness. Second, followed by the writing ability. And then finally, the gore and the originality were the least weighted components. I do not know if Alpha and Beta are going to use these exact 5 criteria again. I don't know, because I don't know what their plans are for game makers or what they want to see. But I definitely know that if you have your tributes focus on these 5, that you can't go wrong, really. With creativity and realisticness being the most important, try to have your tributes to not just, write about the fight. Like, have them do something new or interesting or creative, basically. I mean, that seems like it's kind of obvious, and realisticness also, plays a part. But don't be too realistic. Don't have your tribute, writing themselves breaking a leg, because it's like, well, they're just going to screw themselves over, obviously. The writing ability is really important to Alpha, because he likes to have a story, basically, told in these submissions. So it's not always necessarily enough to just write out, the fight or the escape or something like that. Don't be afraid. Don't have your tributes be afraid to, give a little bit of introduction into the fight and lay some groundwork to really help establish who your tributes are as characters in these games. Granted, we don't want. I mean, if you have more exposition than actual intense fight, it's not going to go over well. But don't be I don't say don't be afraid, because you're not actually doing anything. Make sure your tributes understand that it's important to really paint a really nice picture with words, and it just flows well. And that's probably the hardest part, honestly, to really get down. And that was kind of one of the ones that was kind of lacking. Well, not lacking. I don't think kind of lacking in the Fourth Quarter Quell, because for most part, everyone did a good job. It was good. It just wasn't like, wow. The one aspect that was actually lacking the most, though, was the gore aspect. If you're not slightly uncomfortable reading your tribute submission, then it's probably not gory enough, honestly. Alpha likes it gory and creepy and make it send chills down his spine. And if it's too much or doesn't fit, then he'll edit it out. If for example, if you have your tribute just talk about cutting into someone with a sword, okay, that's great. They stab them with a sword. If you talk about how the blades, have them talk about how the blade slices through the internal organs, and you can see the blood and the bile spilling out of the gaping hole that was once their stomach or something like that. Alpha responds a lot better to things like that. So that's basically it. I know it seems kind of vague, but like I said, it's just the basics, because we spent a lot of time discussing, which submissions were good and just all right. And I'm already over 5.5 minutes, so I don't want to keep you any longer. The last bit of advice is Alpha really doesn't care if you're fighting over and over and over again. If you look at the fourth quarter quell, one of the finalists never actually really fought someone. If your tributes are making good choices and they're writing good narratives along with those choices, then that's okay. Granted, it may not be as fun, but don't be afraid to play with things like that. Take risks. Alpha likes risks. Granted, they're not always going to work. Crap, I can't think of anything else. If I ever think of anything else, I'll probably just post it in the chat. If you have any questions specifically you want to ask me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay? That's it. Have fun with all your tributes, and may the best district win, which will be District 4, obviously. But I just felt like I had to say that, Okay.